Now, I am back here, St Camilla's, to do my part 3 of St Camilla's Approved School, and I'll just show you this lake here. This lake here is where we used to come on here with Mr Snedden and canoe on house nights and things. Now this building in front of us, this big church, Roman Catholic church, St Camilla's, which is what this place is named after, is where the Maidos go to church for every single mass there was, including midnight mass. I weren't even Roman Catholic, and they had me ringing Belfort Vicar, ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. By the time I got out of this place, I was atheist. And ironically, they're still having mass here. I actually thought it was closed, but it's not. And just round this way here, if you went straight down that way, I'm not going down there because that's where Old Farm used to be, and that is just closed. That's just another back road out to go to Tadcaster. Now this place here, a lot of which is boarded up, as you can see. It's now saying it was Highfield Care Home. Well, all this is where the units was, where they used to teach the trades. The total trades, they had plumbers, who I'm going to be talking about in a minute, the man that taught plumbing, and Mr Peake, big fat nonce. No better, a big fat nonce. But he was England's Olympic judo gold medalist. I'll get back to him in a bit, because just thinking about him winds me up. And it's down that way where Old Farm was. All these fields, everything, belong to Approved School. All these buildings here have been renovated and made into a nursing home that looks like it is now closed, same as the Approved School was. All these units were still here all them years ago, and I'm here to do a walk round to do my part 3. The buildings up there, all the pointy roofs you can see, is where my instructor taught me to paint and decorate, Mr Snedden. He only had one eye, best sign writer I've ever seen in my life. I'm 63 now. I carried on with my trade when I got out, because I taught us to sit in guilds, and I'm really proud of Mr Snedden. Now, back round here, that building there in front of us, that was administration. That bit going across wasn't there. That was, you could get straight out there to back at church and back down to back, turn left and go down to farm. These here what plumbers, joiners and administration. We used to have his brecks on here and sit and wait while screws went in and had the brecks and did what they did on the brecks. Now, as you come round here, we weren't allowed round here. We had to walk round the other way. Oh, look at Mr. Major Connor's lawn full of molehills. Yeah, right, like this was the administration. And there is St. Camilla's, where they're still having a church ceremony now even. And what it is, you had Roman Catholics running this, a Roman Catholic approved school. And they preached Bible to you constantly and told you that you had to be a church-going person and a law-abiding citizen. Now, what hypocrites. They went to church, said half a dozen Hail Marys, and thought it were alright to go back up on unit, beat 15-year-old kids half to death, and nonce the ones, the rest of them. They beat up the ones that they couldn't nonce, such as me. We stood up to them and stopped them. So we got beat up to try and make us keep us gob shut. Here, directly in front of this tree that you can see, massive tree, it's always been here. Just here in front was a big Harrier jump jet. Major Connor used to love messing about with that. He was a major in RAF Church Fenton. And also on this field was a big black stallion, like a big dray horse, jet black, and his name was Topper. I used to feed him apples all the time. He loved me. At top end of the field up there, up by house units where I'm coming soon, there was a swing gate what you could walk through and cut down through the field and come out to the bottom if you were going up to the house units. I used to go up to house units because I brought Mr. McHugh's son some pigeons. There were Mr. McHugh, Mrs. McHugh, Mary, his daughter, and Dominic, his son. Mr. McHugh wasn't a nonce, but he was a bully. Because he was only a short-arsed little cunt. He used to have a little Jack Russell, they called it, Penny. And he only had to whisper to it, just take one bite out of him, Penny. And it'd come up and bite you. And he thought it was a big joke. Had me terrified of Jack Russells. Now, as I said, this big massive house here in front of me was owned by the biggest nonce in the place, Major Connor. He used to ring particular house units and ask the staff to send whoever to his house on pretence of cutting his lawns. These fencings here weren't here then, neither were all these trees going all the way up and round. It were all open. All this were open, still lawn like it is. All this were Major Connor's lawn. He used to get staff to send kids down, and then he'd nonce them and set them outside to do what he'd told staff he wanted them for, to cut his lawn. I'm not going in, but I'll just get you the view, because this was Major Connor's house. Super nonce. And as I said, he was an actual major in RAF Church Fenton. Well, all being Catholics like they were big on Boy Scouts and all that sort of thing, Army Cadets. And like I say, he nonce kids on a regular basis. The house in front of us now, here, what a house. I'll get round to others in a minute. All this up here, that's new buildings. Alright, sir.
Beautiful day, fella.
Did you know this was a naughty boys' home?
Yeah, I was bred and born round here.
Yeah, well, I was here in early 70s
Oh, yeah.
when Mr. Peake, who was our Olympic gold judo medalist,
Right.
nonced kids on a regular basis in here on these units and battered people like me for grassing him up.
Right.
Nobody wants to talk about it, that's why it all went on. And as you know, this place was run by Roman Catholics. St. Camilla's, and all the staff were Catholics as well. Mr. McHugh, Major Connor.
Guy with Major Connor.
Major Connor.
His wife stabbed him.
Yes, no wonder. He used to have boys sent from the house units on a night so he could nonce them here while his wife were out. And then he used to make them mow all the lawn in front. Oh, you also know that there were a big jump jet on there.
I remember
Do you remember the black horse that used to be on there as well?
I remember before all this got built.
Can you remember the black horse that were on there?
Not really.
Well, they called him Topper. Mr. McHugh, who lived in the houses down there, his wife, him and his wife were housemasters on Sea Wing on here.
1959 I come to here.
Well, I was here in about 74.
I remember used to take them for walks out.
There were a lot of good stuff went on here.
Do you remember Tommy McHugh?
Yes, I do.
He's passed away.
Well, Mr. McHugh's son and daughter, Mary
Yeah,
and Dominic.
that's right, he's lad, eh?
Right. Well, I brought 2 homing pigeons for Dominic and settled them in his house. And whenever Mr. and Mrs. McHugh were on Sea House, I used to go down to his house and learn his son all about pigeons. Mr. Snedden, painter and decorator, one eye. He taught me, apprentice trained. He had one eye, best sign writer I've ever seen in my life.
You know Bruce Clark.
Yes.
Bruce Clark. There were Bernard. Well, you that's so aye. Yeah, because Major Connor lived here, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, mate. Yes, he did.
Yeah, I'm used to it farm down
And
there.
that jump jet that used to be on field there, that was from up Church Fenton, and that's because Major Connor was a major in RAF Church Fenton.
Right.
Thanks for your time, mate. It's been great talking to you. Cheers. As you see there, I got a good chat with one of the locals that lives on here. Been round here all his life. Backed up everything I said. I don't want this to be all about the people that are living here, but we'll ask them if they knew when I'm walking past. Excuse me, did you know that this used to be a naughty boys' home? I was in here.
Oh, you were one of them, were you?
Half the staff who were avid Catholics, as you know, our Church of England. You didn't get no choice.
No.
You had to go to Catholic. They went to Mass, said a few Hail Marys. I had to ring Belfort Vicar even. I'm Church of England. Then there'd be on units on a night, noncing kids, included Major Connor, who owned that house,
Right.
Mr. McHugh, Mrs. McHugh.
I just remember it in distant past it being a bad like Scotland.
Well, what it is, I'm here to do an audit
Aye.
on what happened
Yeah.
to the kids that didn't get sexually assaulted. Yeah?
Really.
Well, I'm here to tell you. I was assaulted for 4 years for stopping a Mr. Peake, who was England's Olympic gold medalist judo champion, and his wife was the women's judo champion. He taught plumbing through the day. He were on the house units on a night, noncing kids. He battered me. I approached him on first night. I stopped him sexually assaulting a lad in my dormitory.
Good God.
And after that, he battered me every day.
Really?
Whenever I was here, now they even had a boot room. He used to come in on nights and just to remind me who was boss, it's a Taylor boot room.
Good God.
And he used to batter me like that every single time he were on.
Job, they knocked it down.
They can, all these units here, all these houses, they're exactly the same. I can go round there now and point out every window,
Right.
what it was,
Yeah.
even arches going through. You go through arch and on your right at the end before you come back out of the arch is where the boot room used to be.
Good God.
Yeah. Check out my channel. I do police and prison corruption and things like this. Arthur Taylor, St Camilla's Part 1, and it'll be on tonight.
I'll have a look.
St Camilla's Part 1. You'll get all my channel up, mate. You'll find it interesting. Thank you. Cheers, mate, for spending time to have a word with me, mate. And as I've said, this path, this roadway, is still exactly the same. And apart from this road going up here, that weren't there. It was just all field, all that, all the way along. This roadway just continued round and down to the house units. I've had 2 goes with public who very happily answered what and told me what they knew. Look, this is what it is now. Yeah, very pretty. Not so pretty what went on though. And here we are, the old units, all exactly the same as there was. And I'm pretty shocked. This roadway was still here, going out at units, and then that like carried on and went round past Major Connor's house. And this, all these garages are new. All them garages are all new. And all these are exactly the same as there was when I was here, approved school. Now, this one was C-wing, C-block. Excuse me, mate. Oh, sorry. What it is, did you know this used to be a naughty boys' home?
Yeah.
All these units are exactly the same.
Yeah.
I was here.
Well, you know.
I was here, and I'm here to answer because.
But don't get too close.
No,
You know.
Yes, sorry.
time and everything like that.
Sorry. When all the children's homes and everything were coming on top, and staff were being prosecuted for tampering with kids, yes?
Yeah.
I'm here to answer what happened to ones that didn't get tampered with. Well, I got battered every day for 4 years by our Olympic gold medalist, Mr. Peak.
Oh, right.
All these houses are exactly the same as there was, just changed about a bit. And through here, this was C-wing. All right, mate. This was C-wing, and this bottom part here, what kitchen? This over here, and what housemaster's house. And then these first 3 doors was like an association room. Directly behind this, where this door is now, is where the quiet room was. And as I said, this part was kitchen and dining room. And this arch was still here. This arch was still here. And this door here on the end is where inmates used to come out at dining hall there. There's a part missing. that went right up there. In, and you were in like billiard table room, table tennis. And then this door on end wasn't here, but this one was. Straight forward from this door, you went straight into staff office. And then there were stairs going up to the dormitories. On this side up above all these windows here, was showers and dormitories. I'm sorry, I'm not going to disturb you for long, love. I'm just here because I was here serving as an inmate when it was a naughty boys home.
That's a long time since.
Yes, well that room you're in now used to be my table tennis room and everything. Right, I'm here to answer questions.
No, I'm fine.
Thank you. Well, as I've said, dormitories upstairs, and then as you come up to the back end here, upstairs here, these windows, them big windows weren't on, they've been changed obviously for house. They were all smaller windows, say around them sizes. My dormitory would have been about there, where my finger's pointing. I had a couple of good friends here, one called Chris Axel from York, and Mick Avron, who is responsible for these tattoos on my hands. Look at it, that's supposed to be a swallow, a devil's head and a cross. And this one, that was supposed to be a devil, looking like Simon Templar. Cheers, Mick. And this out here was old Toppers field. You could go out at bottom corner down there and get back out of the place. As I've said, Major Connor, biggest nonce, second biggest nonce, Mr. Peak. And as I've said, this what boot room. He dragged me into this boot room, tied me to a chair and pulled a motorbike in a tube over my head. He knew how long he could leave it because they took us to swimming baths and had us ducking under and see how long we could hold his breath and all that. So he left it on as long as he dare and then battered me around and made me clean out, mess up. Weren't right nice, but it had to be told. All that over there were D-wing. I'm just doing a little documentary on about when it was approved school. Yeah, well I were in this house here. C-wing this. D-wing were closed all the time. The man that assaulted me on a regular basis every day for 4 years was our Olympic judo gold medalist, Mr. Peak. And his wife, what women's. They were all avid Catholics, made us go to church every time. I was C of E, I'm now atheist. Right? They made me ring that bell for vicar and lot. Now, Mr. Peak battered me because I exposed him for noncing a lad in my dorm on my first night here. What the lads forgot to tell me was he was a judo champion. I was only 15, so he battered me all over. But he taught plumbing fruit day. He taught plumbing fruit day down on them other units, where it's now a nursing home. Nonce kids on a night on house units, till I came, but he battered me every day for it. Major Connor, that had the big house, and a major in RAF Church Fenton, he nonced kids on a regular basis. He used to ring the house units and have the staff send particular lads. Well, I'm here because, and I used to say to my friends, when all these places were coming on top for noncing kids, I used to say to my mates, what happened to kids that didn't get nonced? Why didn't they get nonced? 25 years later, an officer come and asked me to go as witness prosecuting staff from here for nonsense kids when I were in. I told them to get down the path. I reported them at time, that Mr. Peake at the time, I had all my privileges removed. I never got them back for 4 years. False allegations against members of staff. Now they're supposed to be Catholics, mate. Do you know what I mean? Cheers, mate. Right, I think that's where I'll call it quits. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment. Your comments matter.